Hi, it's Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Rick, and I wanted to talk a little bit about YouTube today. Um, YouTube's video business, this is one of those things that people in Hollywood, particularly people who cover Hollywood, really don't seem to understand. There's a lot of attention paid to this Nielsen number that comes out, the gauge, and it shows, oh, this is the percentage of viewing that is attributable to these different streaming services, different platforms. And YouTube for the last, a year or two has been the number one most, it has the highest percentage. Ahead of Netflix, not hugely in front of Netflix, but enough. And particularly when you're talking about some of the smaller services, incredibly much larger percentage of viewing than a Max or a Peacock. And people tend to conflate YouTube and their business model with the business model of Netflix or Max. And they're really not comparable at all. They do sort of share some things in common, and ultimately, the success of YouTube or the success of a subscriber-driven business is people, eyeballs, particularly if you have an ad platform, right? You want the more people to watch it, the better. But from YouTube's perspective, for every million hours of watching, if that million hours is provided by two streamers or 50 different streamers or 5,000 different streamers, to a large extent, it doesn't matter. What matters is the aggregate number. And I was reminded of that because today, or earlier today, the YouTube head of uh, content for EMEA was at Mip London, which, by the way, I'm hoping to go to one year. It sounds like a really great thing. Really hard to sort of justify financially, but there's a lot of great stuff going on, a lot of great conversations going on there. And there was a keynote address, and he said, "Look, we have no interest in getting back into originals, right? We gave that a shot. It didn't work for us. We're not going to do that again." And he emphasized the fact that, look, what matters to us is aggregation, getting all these different creators, all different sizes together, and putting them on a platform. And that people are reading a little bit too much into this. Oh, it's more of the viewers are now seeing YouTube on a connected TV, so that somehow makes YouTube TV, which it doesn't at all. And the other thing about this whole question about original content, I don't know why anyone would think YouTube would be getting into it. Apparently, because more people are watching on TV now, I guess they're going to create more originals, which really misunderstands how YouTube makes money. Part of the thing about originals, part of the reason that YouTube got into originals was they were at a point, you know, 8 years ago or so, where they were trying to convince Hollywood that they were, and particularly Hollywood advertisers, that they were a viable platform, that they were someone that you wanted to advertise on, that they were someone you wanted to interact on with. And the easiest way for them to do that was spend some money, create some original content. Maybe if they're lucky, one of them catches, even if it doesn't, get some attention, shows, hey, we're one of the players, put your advertising on our service. And, I don't think that they expected necessarily that it was going to grab big audiences. It didn't. And particularly for the amount of money they were spending, it certainly didn't, pay off. There wasn't an ROI that made any sort of sense for YouTube at all. But they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, which, they spent a couple $100 million, bought some credibility with Hollywood's advertisers, and everyone's happy. So the fact that people are still asking them, why don't are you going to go back to doing YouTube originals? I just find perplexing. It's like, asking Netflix, oh, are you going to go back to DVDs? No, no, that business was fine when we did it, but no. And it's the same kind of situation. Uh, YouTube is not TV. Maybe you watch it on TV, and it's a competitor to streaming to television in that every person has a finite amount of time in the day, and the more that you spend watching YouTube clips, the less time you have to spend on linear TV or on streaming. But it's not television. And, to a certain extent, it's no different than video game consoles or anything else people do on their TV. It's one of the things that they do. And obviously, the more time that they grab from viewers, the more attention they get, the less time there is for everybody else. But it's not television. It's never going to be television. It's a completely different experience. It's a different business model. And I remain perplexed that that seems to confuse people so much. And with that, I will see you tomorrow. As always, shoot me an email if you have any questions. The newsletter comes out later today. I will talk to you soon.